2024 market predictions, as well as a political hot take. We're going to cover it all today in your January 2024 housing market update. What is going on, party people? In this video today, we're going to be giving you your January 2024 market update. We're also going to include a political hot take. Should get interesting, might get a little spicy. Let's jump right into it. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to give you where we are currently. So this is data from our Central Virginia Multiple Listing Service. This is not national data. This is local data about resale homes. We are not including new construction because if you are watching this, unless you are a new construction home builder, which if you are, then that data is irrelevant to you. We only want to cover the resale market. So in the month of December 2023, we ended the month with a median sales price of $367,000, which was up 11.2% from December of last year. So we saw 11.2% year-over-year appreciation last month. The median days on market was 9 days. So 9 days from when a listing went on the market to when it went under contract. The median percentage of list price, so how much of their asking price did sellers get, was on median 100%. And the month supply of inventory was 0.7 month supply of inventory, which means we are in an extreme seller's market because anything below 6 months supply of inventory is considered a seller's market by definition. We're at 0.7, so we're in an extreme seller's market. So despite what you are hearing on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, what your neighbor who is a housing expert on the side has said, all my friends know the low rider. At least in Metro Richmond, we're in a very healthy market. We're very much in a seller's market, despite what all the gurus and talking heads on the TV are saying. So now that we know where we are, let's talk about where we are projected to go. So friendly forewarning, 2024 is going to be an election year. And with that election year, that means you're gonna hear statistics, facts, figures, opinions, all of that about the housing market weaponized by one political party against another. And oh, by the way, whether you're on red team or blue team or green team or whatever team you're on, and they all do it not to benefit you as the United States citizen, not to benefit you as the consumer. They do it to benefit themselves for political gain. And that is my political stance. I've endorsed these statements. And a lot of times when they're giving you these facts, they're giving you these figures, they're giving you these quote unquote fact-based opinions, realize that sometimes that information is simply not true. Sometimes it is true, but it's not contextual. So I encourage you to be an intelligent, discerning adult. And when you hear facts and figures get thrown around about the housing market during this political cycle, that you take a grain of salt and you actually go a step further in analyzing that information and thinking through, why is this individual, why is this political party, why is this organization espousing this information? All right, so now that I've alienated everybody talking about politics and I've probably set up a hand grenade in the comment section.
Well, that was awkward.
Let's talk about mortgage rates. So rates are actually on a downward trend right now, which is pretty cool, and they are projected to continue to go downwards. Goldman Sachs is actually predicting that we're gonna see 3 federal funding rate cuts by the month of June, so that we're gonna see roughly 0.75% drop in the federal funds rate, which of course will entail a drop in the 30-year fixed mortgage rate more than likely. So with the mortgage rates coming down, experts are predicting that we are going to see an increase in sales or an increase in the number of real estate transactions that we are going to see in 2024 versus 2023. And what's interesting is we have a lot of buyers that are on the sidelines right now. Bright MLS, which is one of the largest MLS systems in the United States, they're the MLS system that operates the DC area as well as other large metros, recently did a study of buyers that pulled themselves out of the housing market, and 72.1% of those said they did so due to interest rates. And also, while we have a lot of buyers that are on the sidelines right now, we also know that we have a lot of sellers that are on the sidelines, homeowners that want to sell their home, they want to move, they have a life change that they need to make, but they are reluctant to give up their mortgage rate if they've got a sub 5% mortgage rate. What we know now is that roughly 80% of all homeowners in the United States that have a mortgage under 5%, so us being at roughly 6.75% right now, we've just got a lot of reluctant sellers out there, would-be sellers that if and when rates drop, they can justify giving up their interest rate for whatever interest rate they might be going into. And what we also know, just being in the business, you know, talking with tons of would-be buyers, would-be would-be sellers is that there's certainly a psychological effect when interest rates rise or fall. It's not necessarily what pencils out for that particular person in their particular circumstance, and it certainly is, but what we know is that when interest rates come down, the collective genius of humanity decides that it's a good idea to buy a home, and when folks believe that it's a good idea, or society believes that it's a good idea to buy a home, we generally just see more activity in the real estate market when everybody's excited about the housing market as opposed to thinking that it's not a good time to buy or sell. All right, so last but not least, let's talk about price appreciation in 2024. With that all being said, most forecasters are predicting that across the whole United States, we're gonna see nominal appreciation. 6 of the 8 rather major forecasters are saying that we're gonna have price appreciation. Zillow, Realtor.com are predicting that we're gonna see price depreciation. I think it's interesting that the 2 largest real estate search portals are the ones that are saying prices are gonna be going down, but that's a side note. But if we average out the 8 major forecasters, the average of their projections is that we're gonna see about 1.5% appreciation, which is more or less flatlining in my book. My personal prediction is that we are going to see 5% or more greater appreciation, at least in our Metro Richmond market with resale. As I shared earlier in this video, from December of 22 to December of 23, we've seen 11.2% year-over-year appreciation. So we are well above the national average right now for price appreciation. And I think we will continue to be so through 2024, or at least that's my projection. So as we do always, let's give you 3 tips for would-be sellers. Let's give you 3 tips for would-be buyers. For my sellers, number 1, spring is around the corner. So we are shooting this video on January the 12th. What I know is that anybody that says they are going to be selling in the summer, selling in the spring, the summer is going to come on you faster than you think. So my advice would be get in touch with a real estate professional, start thinking about what you need to do to prepare your home for market, what you want to do to prepare your home for market. And my recommendation, get started on that now, because if you give yourself 3 months to prepare as opposed to 3 weeks or 3 days, it's going to be a much less stressful process for you. Secondly, your equity is still there and it is growing. So rest assured, I don't care what you've seen on the TV, your equity is safe, your equity is fine. All of the equity that you've gained over the last 3 years is still there. Your home is more than likely continuing to appreciate. So don't feel like you've lost out or you missed the window. And then last but not least for my sellers is calculate your ROI. So I talked to a lot of would-be sellers that, when I first meet with them, they talk about, hey, we want to renovate the kitchen. We want to renovate the bathrooms. Hey, Chris, do you think we should put granite countertops in? Or the answer is always, well, it depends. It depends what your goals are, but it also depends, is that investment into your property actually going to bring you a return? And is the return worth the hassle and worth the spend and worth the speculation of, is this going to get us more money? So putting more money into your property for the simple goal of resale doesn't always work. You got to make sure you're putting your money in the right places. You got to make sure that it's actually going to give you a return. And you can't really get that information until you've run comps, until you know what the expectation is for a property like yours in your neighborhood. So if you haven't already, talk to a real estate professional that can give you that information. Of course, if you're in the Metro Richmond area, we would love to earn your business, but sit down and really calculate and figure out what your return on investment is going to be before you start spending money on upgrading your property on things that may or may not bring you a return. For my buyers, understand that price is a factor in your mortgage payment. So as we've shared, interest rates are projected to drop, which is great. That's going to lower your monthly mortgage payment, your prospective monthly mortgage payment from an interest rate standpoint. However, when interest rates drop, it is projected that prices are going to increase and the rate of appreciation is going to accelerate because it's going to bring a whole lot of buyers back into the market that are sitting on the sidelines right now. And yes, it's going to bring a little bit of inventory, but it's not going to bring enough inventory to feed those buyers. So realize that prices are going to continue to appreciate. And yes, you may be able to get a better interest rate 6 months from now as opposed to today, but understand that you're always going to be, or you're more than likely going to be buying in at a higher price point. Secondly, and I kind of alluded to it, the Hunger Games may be coming back. So we were at 0.7 months supply of inventory in Metro Richmond right now. We have very little inventory on our market. And as more buyers enter into the market going into the spring and the summer, as more buyers enter into the market with interest rates coming down, we predict that it's going to get more and more competitive out there. So if you're in a position to buy a home right now, if you're able to find a home that works for you and your family, my recommendation would be go ahead and buy that home before you're having to compete with everybody and their mother 3 months from now. And then last but not least, time in the market versus timing the market. The way you win in the housing market is you stay in your home, you buy and you stay in your home for 5+ years. If you look at a historical graphic, you will see that the median home price in the United States, for the most part, has grown over the last 50 years. There haven't been too many 5-year periods outside of the Great Recession where home prices didn't increase. So realize you're not going to be able to predict the housing market perfectly. I don't care what guru you see on YouTube. They were saying the market was going to crash in 23, and now they're saying the market is going to going to crash in 24. The way you win in the market, just like you do in the stock market, is time in the market versus timing the market. And guys, that was the January 2024 housing market update. I hope you found that insightful. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, fears we didn't cover, throw it in the comments. Shoot me a direct message. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next month.